The Attack on Titan series is unfortunately nearing its end, and whether you're an anime watcher or a manga reader, I'm sure you can relate on that empty void feeling you have once you're all caught up and have to wait for the next chapter or episode. The fact that soon there won't be any more chapters or episodes to wait for is hurting me in ways you can't imagine.
勝てなきゃ死ぬ。勝てば生きる。
戦わなければ勝てない。戦え。戦え。
So I decided to look for ways to fill that void and came across Attack on Titan 2, the video game. While the game was released in 2018, it has added a bunch of DLC and expansions since then, and I decided to see if it could properly fill the void, and decided to share the results with any of you who are either thinking about getting the game, or just looking for ways to cope with the series ending. I broke it up into different parts and aspects of the game, and the timestamps will be in the description. Attack on Titan 2 covers the entire story from Season 1 all the way to the end of Season 3. Originally, it only covered Season 1 and some of Season 2, but they added an expansion in 2019 called Final Battle in order to cover everything that it had missed. The character you play as is an original character who went through the same devastation as the protagonist of the series when Wall Maria was breached. You then enter the 104th Training Corps with the same characters you grew to love or hate during the series, and basically live the story as one of their comrades. I won't spoil too much of what happens with your own character in the story, but in my opinion, the fact that you get to experience the entire story again from another perspective, while building your own relationships with the cast and seeing new character developments from them that you wouldn't normally see in the anime, is incredibly cool. Some of you might have already been able to tell by some of the gameplay I showed in the background, you can fully customize your character in this game. And not just with presets and stuff, you can adjust so much and truly make a character you would have loved to see in the story. But the best part is, not only can you customize your appearance and voice, but you can also fully customize your loadout from your blades to your holsters to your ODM and so on. You collect different materials on your missions and can use them to either upgrade your current gear or build fully new gear and give yourself a whole different fighting style. Surprisingly, it doesn't even end there. I was honestly surprised by the amount of different things you could customize. There's also a skill point system that you can use to upgrade different, skills of yours, as well as learn new abilities for your combat. I know it might seem pretty confusing, but honestly, once you play the game, you'll realize that it's pretty straightforward and not confusing at all. If there's one thing that hooked me into the game almost instantly, it was definitely the gameplay. More specifically, using your ODM like an LD in Spider-Man slinging from building to building. No, really though, I'm not joking. The ODM in this game is incredibly fun and satisfying to use. It was so fun for me that for the first few days of having the game, I literally didn't want to play any other game simply because I wouldn't be able to maneuver around like I can in this game. The combat itself also relies on the ODM movement. You use it to gain speed and momentum and dash at your enemy, and when you're close enough, you have to time your blade in order to do an effective attack. The combat also allows you to deploy your squad mates to attack the Titan, which can lead to some seriously cool cinematic kills. If blades aren't your thing and you prefer to shoot, well, surprise surprise, you can actually use guns in this game as well. While I personally prefer the blades, there's also real cool gun mechanics in the game, so it all depends on your cup of tea. Trust me though, while it may look complicated, it really isn't. It's super fun and straightforward. Okay, that was cool as shit, I'm not gonna lie. I briefly referenced this in the story section of this vid, but in this game you can actually build relationships with all the characters in the game. In my opinion, this is a really cool way to learn more about your fave characters from the show in a new perspective. While building relationships in the AOT world might seem like a bad idea for tragic reasons, the incentive is that you can actually gain different skills and perks from leveling up your relationships with different people. You can also choose different people to tag along on missions with you, which is super cool and fun. Now this might be because I had low expectations for the length of the game when I first got it, but I was actually blown away from the amount of content in the game. Not even accounting for the cutscenes and all that, there's so much for you to do. There's the main story of course, but there's also scout missions, scout training, horse riding, and even a whole nother mode where you can play as any character you want and do missions from their perspective. And that's not even all of it. You can also gain political popularity and influence different decisions for the soldiers and citizens in the game. If that sounds like a lot, then honestly it's because it is a lot. A lot more than you would expect from a game that flew under so many people's radars for so long. Now, if I'm being brutally honest, there are some times early on where everything felt really repetitive. Like it's just constantly killing titans after titans after titans. However, I'm someone who gets bored incredibly easily and loses interest fast, and I still had a great time playing the game and was actually excited to continue playing it whenever I would wake up. So should you buy the game in 2021? Well, if you're looking for something to fill the inevitable void left behind by the end of AOT Season 4 or the end of the manga and want to experience the story from a whole new perspective while refreshing your memory on the earlier days, then yes it is worth it, and you should definitely buy it if you can afford it. It's still a pretty expensive game for something that was released in 2018, so I do recommend maybe waiting for a sale or a price drop or something. But if it's something that you can afford, then I recommend it 100%. Anyways, if you made it this far, then I love you and would appreciate a like or a sub or both if you can. It would mean the world to me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.